A young woman who was kidnapped and taken to a quarry in West Auckland told police she would rather have died than carry out the demands of her attacker. The 24-year-old's police DVD interview was played to a closed courtroom at the High Court in Auckland today, where Colin Jack Mitchell is on trial. Mr Mitchell is accused of abducting her from Great North Road in the early hours of the morning last February and driving her 25 kilometres to a quarry outside town, where he beat and tried to sexually violate her. He's denied the charges, and his lawyers say the case is one of mistaken identity. Our reporter Edward Gay has been in court, and just a warning that the details of this case are disturbing. Good evening, Edward. The woman was out drinking with friends and her memory of the night is a bit blurred.
That's right, and the Crown says she became separated from her friends on this night on Great North Road. She was picked up on Great North Road by a man in a car. She's got no memory of that, but she told the police that the first thing she remembers of the incident is coming around. She felt blood on the side of her head. Her dress was off. She didn't recall how that had happened, and she was lying on her side on some gravel. The woman said there was a man standing over her. It was dark, but there was a light coming from behind him, and she could see he was wearing a face mask and holding a bat that she described as a baseball bat or a softball bat. She said the man sounded strange as he began issuing demands. She described it almost robotic, and she begged him not to hurt her and told him that he didn't have to be this kind of person. He made some kind of threat, telling her that she was going to get herself killed or something similar. And the woman told the police she knew what he wanted, but she said she'd rather die than let that happen. And the man then hit her in the head with the bat. She described it feeling like a burn, and she believes she then blacked out.
And the next she knew, she was scrambling up a pile of gravel. That's
right, and at the time also on the phone to the police, and she said she didn't know where she was. She followed a fence line she came across, and she followed that all the way around quite a long distance. We've seen an aerial photograph of the area she covered, and she covered quite a distance, but all this time she described that she didn't know where her attacker was either, and she was trying to tell the police, trying to get the police to come out to her, but she couldn't tell them actually where she was. And she eventually found a building and a street sign, and she was able to relay that information, and the police responded.
And we've also heard from one of the first officers on the scene.
That's right, that's Constable Kelvin Meek, and he described seeing the victim for the first time as looking like someone had actually tipped a bucket of blood on her. She was in a bad way with a large gash in her head and a split eyebrow. Constable Meek stayed with her in the ambulance, and he basically had a long conversation with her. He was relaying this information back to officers on the ground who were trying to find the crime scene. When his shift ended, though, he actually drove back to the area, and he told the court that the victim had given him so much information he was able to sort of piece a few things together. And he walked up a gravel track, and eventually he found the victim's shoes, a white face mask. But I guess one of the most important pieces of evidence he found was this black glove, and it's that black glove that has been tested by ESR for DNA and is a strong match to the accused. The trial continues.
The trial continues. Thanks very much. That's our court reporter Edward Gay.